What's going on, everybody? We're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm kind of cutting down that intro a little bit, but let's kind of get right to it. Is this World Series or bust for the Baltimore Orioles in 2026? I think they need to be operating in that way. But is the front office? I don't know. Let's check in and find out.
Big Town Sport, yeah, we run the O's top. Best in Baltimore, yeah, you know we don't stop. If you rock with the birds, hit subscribe right now. Orange and black, we leading the crowd.
So like I said, is it World Series or bust? It almost seems like it is. I mean, when you go out and spend the kind of money that you did this year, you know, in the offseason, bringing in the type of quality of players that you did, you put the money into the stadium a little bit, it almost seems like that you're taking a home run swing. And rightfully so. I mean, it's been, 7, 8 years since we've won a playoff game under Mike Elias, so they should be operating in that manner. So overall, I would say this offseason has been a fairly good offseason. I mean, there's still some question marks to be answered here. But all in all, I mean, I'd say we had a fairly good offseason, and we're going to go over all that. So this is a little bit of a season preview here. So obviously the season starts tomorrow. I'm going to be down at the yard. If you're there, come check me, find me out, say hello. But let's get into it, right? So when you make a push for Pete Alonso, you've got to be swinging for the fence, right? Literally, figuratively speaking there. You don't go out and spend the kind of money to bring in Polar Pete and not try to go win a World Series. You know, we're past the point of this being development, right? It's go time. And I think, last year it was probably go time too. Everything that you could ever think of went wrong last year. I think the excuses are out the window this year. I think the pressure's on. The pressure's on the front office. I think it's on some of these core players. This is a make or break year for a lot of guys. You go out and get somebody like Pete to bring his kind of a bat into that lineup, bring his veteran presence into that clubhouse. It tells me that you're going for it, which I'm very happy with. Some of the other moves that we made this year. Taylor Ward, this was a hot topic for a while. A lot of people didn't agree with getting rid of Grayson Rodriguez and whatnot. But you know what? It's very hard to find a powerful right-handed bat, right? And that's what pretty much every team in baseball was trying to try and chase this year, this offseason. You saw all around the league. I mean, guys got desperate enough for Randy Arozarena, like a guy who used to be good, but he's right-handed. He's got some power, and it's just, Adolis Garcia still got a job somewhere, even though he had pretty much 2 down years. So right-handed power bats were hard to come by. So the Orioles went out very early in the offseason, and they went and got their guy. I don't know why I keep doing that, but I keep doing it. Ryan Helsley, another one. With Felix Bautista going down again, Helsley's the guy that needed to come in and shore up the back end of this bullpen. And, I mean, hopefully he's the guy. He struggled last year down the stretch there in New York, so hopefully maybe they figure something out with that. But all in all, he's a guy that he's a big name, right? And we haven't brought in too many big name bullpen arms in the past couple of years. I mean, Craig Kimbrell, big name, past that prime. So Ryan Helsley, very happy with that one there. And we'll touch more on why he's a huge piece of this bullpen right now, not just because he's the closer and whatnot, but just for the fact that he's a veteran, a guy who's been there for a while. So that we're going to find out why that plays very, very big here. So, and then Shane Baz, right? We gave up a lot for Shane Baz, right? But this is a guy at one time was ranked the second best pitching prospect in all of baseball. Came back off Tommy John, pitched 166 innings last year. Look, the numbers they are what they were, right? You played in a little league park. Some of the guys for Tampa kind of really got hit around. Some of the guys pitched well. Baseball, right? Baseball. But all in all, Shane Baz has got filthy stuff. Filthy stuff. He could grow into something really nice. You got 3 years control for him. Again, you made a move to make your rotation better. And obviously, you don't have to worry about I'm not even going to say that. Scratch that. Scratch that. I don't want to jinx anything. But this year you have Kyle Bradish back, fully healthy, knock on wood. You have Trevor Rogers back, fully healthy, knock on wood. You've got a guy like Shane Baz. Your bullpen, your starting rotation already is better than what it was. Then you move in, bring in Chris Bassitt. Bring in Chris Bassitt, a guy who's been around this league for a very long time, and he's been very successful in this league for a very long time. And we've when I interviewed Ben, we heard about his leadership and whatnot. You knew he was bringing some type of leadership. The guy was just in the World Series. So he's been there. He's done that. He knows what it takes. So bringing a guy like that, it's a big deal. So he's going to eat some innings. I actually picked him as my guy to regress a little bit this year. I mean, he had, a 3.8, 3.9 last year. And I don't mean like a total fall off regression. I'm talking like if he has like a 4.1, a 4.2 with 170 innings, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think Chris Bassitt's a 4 or 5 on this team when it's all said and done. Maybe even finishes in the bullpen. I'm not sure, but we wanted him here for the veteran presence and to eat some innings. And I think he's going to do both. So, but if you guys are new here, definitely drop a like on the video here. Go ahead and subscribe. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss what we put out this year. And, just join in. I mean, you can see with the chat here, chat's moving around, talk some baseball. Everybody in here is legit. We have a good time. We read through all the comments at the very end. So again, if you're new here, like and subscribe, and we'll keep rolling here. So the Orioles did announce their rosters. So, and I don't think there are too many surprises here. Maybe Jackson Kowar is a little bit of a surprise. I don't think too many people really picked Yermín Geraldo to really make the team, but we're not really sure who took the spot from Keegan Aiken. And we'll get to Keegan Aiken here shortly. But I mean, all in all, I would say, maybe if there was 2 question marks, one of them I don't think people really questioned too much because they were excited to see would be Anthony Nunez. He's got some really good stuff. He did only pitch 15 innings in AAA last year. He would be probably a guy that I would say doesn't stay here very long unless he just completely earns it. I don't know. But Geraldo and Nunez are definitely the 2 question marks overall. We're going to get into why there's some big question marks. And other than that, I mean, I don't think anybody else that really made the team really was a surprise. I mean, with the injuries to Jackson Holliday and Jordan Westberg, some guys were going to make it. I think we were all pretty much pulling for Jeremiah Jackson because what he did at the end of last year, most people wanted to see him make the team. Now, Brian Ramos was pretty good. I don't think he offered the versatility that Jeremiah Jackson does, because he can play outfield. He gives you a little bit more roster flexibility. Now, the outfielders, I think pretty much everybody expected to see this. There's some question marks with Dylan Beavers kind of coming in. Would he be ready for opening day? He's set. He's good to go. Kind of just a minor thing. So it's nice to see pretty much everybody we expected to make the team make it. I'm glad they didn't go with 3 catchers personally. Listen, they're going to hit both these guys a lot. I don't care. If you got to get through one game with Taylor Ward, whatever, who cares? Bring somebody. Don't waste a roster spot for a 3rd catcher. That would have just been crazy. But now listen, if you're playing like 10 games in a row or something like that, and somehow, some way the taxi squad wasn't available, then I could understand it. But either way, so they did DFA Jackson Kowar and Brian Ramos, leaving the 40-man roster down to 38, which kind of excites me just a little bit because they can move that in all sorts of ways, right? You can go and acquire a reliever, which I think they're going to have to do here pretty shortly, or you can move up one of these guys from the minors. So if somebody goes down like a catcher or whatnot, you can move Sam Huff to the 40-man. You can move Maverick Hanley down to the 40-man. Anything else, a pitcher goes down, anything. Somebody goes down for a couple days. Say if Beavers was down for a couple days, they have the ability to maybe put Bradfield on there. I don't think they would because they still have Reed Trimble, but you had flexibility now that you have 2 open spots. So hopefully we see somebody that has, some kind of bullpen experience. So we're going to touch on that in a little bit about this bullpen because quite frankly, I'm pretty nervous about the bullpen. But let's touch on the starters here. I think most people kind of assumed Kyle Bradish was going to get the ball on opening day. He didn't. And obviously, I don't think anybody really thought Dean Kramer was going to get set down, but he did. But this is what we have to work with this year. So obviously, Trevor Rogers is the 1 for right now. Kyle Bradish is the 2. But Shane Baz sits pretty comfortably at number 3. And then Chris Bassitt at 4, Eflin at 5. The guy who started opening day for you last year is your 5. A healthy 5, too, finally. I think the O's are in a good spot with this rotation. Now, some people are saying, around baseball, not just Orioles fans, but just around baseball, that this rotation is going to be pretty good. Some people are saying they didn't do enough. I think what we're going to see here, and I was reading a little bit from Fangraphs. Fangraphs projections on 2026, only one guy goes over 150 innings out of the current 5 here, and that's Chris Bassitt at 175. They've got Eflin. Now, take this with a grain of salt. They are over 150, but I'm talking like We didn't really get past 155, right? So I'm just saying 150. We'll just, whatever. We'll go with 155. Zach Eflin, 154. And I think that's pretty fair because I think at some point we're going to see Dean Kramer kind of spell some guys. Like I said, Bassitt at 175. They got Shane Baz at 152. If he's not hurt and he loses 14 innings this year, I'd be a little concerned unless they really do a true six-man. I hope they don't down the stretch, but we'll see. They have Kyle Bradish at 146, which I ideally, I think I would be okay with that. As long as he was ready to go by game one of a playoff series. And then they have Trevor Rogers at 151. Again, I think that's fair because he's only done that once in his career. So I think these projections are fairly decent. Again, we're going to have to rely heavily on Dean Kramer, and I also think you're going to see a start or two from Trey Gibson, Luis De Leon maybe. You're going to see some guys that are going to get some opportunities, so maybe these inning counts are a little lower this year. Here's where I have a little bit of concern maybe, but they are just projections, whatever. They've got Trevor Rogers at a 4.10 ERA. 4.10? Like, did we not watch Trevor Rogers pitch? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. They got Kyle Bradish at a 3.62. I think these are a touch inflated. That's just me. Shane Baz at a 4.25. I think that, again, maybe around a 3.94, I think is fair to project for him. Chris Bassitt at a 4.27. I think I'd be pretty happy if Chris Bassitt ends the year as the number 5 with a 4.27. That's just me. If he's at 175 innings, I think I'd be okay with that. And then Zach Eflin with a 4.24. Again, I think that's a little inflated even for Zach Eflin. I think he's better than that. But again, these are just projections. Kyle Bradish projected with a 3.0 WAR. Trevor Rogers with a 2.2. No one else is above a 1.9. So again, the WAR, the power rankings and all like that, I think that's all pretty good on the projections side of things. But you know, these starters this year, I don't think are going to be the Achilles heel like we saw last year, which is a good thing. But going towards that, the difference between 95 wins and 85 wins on this team is going to be the bullpen. I don't think the bullpen's very good. I could be completely wrong, but this is what I tweeted out earlier. If you take Ryan Helsley out of the conversation, these guys have a combined 8.623 years of service time. Combined. This is the rest of the bullpen here. You got to remember, Keegan Aiken and Andrew Kittredge are out with injuries to start the season. So combined, 464 total innings thrown out of the bullpen. Tyler Wells leads that service time with 4 years, 4.13. Yennier Cano leads with 208 innings. So you're looking at, 6 other guys who've made up 200 innings? It's not very good. They're young, they're inexperienced, and they're going to be tested early. So, again, whenever we covered some of that stuff, 4 players in this bullpen this year have less than 1 year of service time. That's Dietrich Enns, Rico Garcia, Yarmia Geraldo, and Anthony Nunez. I'm sorry, take Garcia out of that. I lied. Grant Wolfram, Nunez, Geraldo, and Dietrich Enns. And can you stop? Sorry, my dog is literally chewing on everything right now. I think that this is going to be the Achilles heel of this baseball team. And I said it. It's the difference between 95 wins and 85 wins. I think this is a pretty damn good baseball team. And I think 95 would be a lot. And it would probably win the American League. Like most at all in the American League. So let's actually talk about that a little bit. So 95 would definitely, it would be the most in baseball. No, it'd be tied with Dodgers for the most in baseball. Projections. I'm going off Fangraphs. So projection-wise, again, I said this offense I thought was pretty good. They would be ranked, they project them as scoring the 3rd most runs per game in baseball this year at 4.75. Ideally, I'd like to be closer to 5. But either way. But they also have them giving up 4.61 runs a game, which would be the most in the division. And it looks like about 5th most in the AL. Not very good. I don't know if I 1,000% agree with that, at least from the starter standpoint, but definitely from the bullpen. But how do we get to even what they project us here at 83 wins? They project us at 83 and 79. I feel like that's a touch low, personally. But if you got a team scoring 4.75 runs a game, is that all the guys that you brought in this year? I don't think so. I think the core players finally got to step it up. The core players that are here are good, but it's their time to pretty much figure out that they're good. There's no more excuses anymore. We've had time to kind of say, well, what about this? What about that? They need a veteran bat. They need a leader, this and that. They were kind of coddled with Brandon Hyde. I think they were really coddled with Tony Mansolino. It was almost like tournament baseball at like 14 years old again. Like, you just don't want these kids that just, the attitude goes bad, the game's over. No, all that's out the window now. It's put up or shut up time for these boys. They're good players. Gunnar Henderson, top 5 player in the American League. He's a damn good baseball player. It's time for Adley Rutschman to figure it out, right? Make or break year for Adley Rutschman. Time to figure it out. You've had some injuries. You've had some excuses. You've got some damn good coaches here now. It's time to put it together. We believe in you. You've got the starting job. It's time to put it together, though. Colton Cowser, same thing. I'm a big Colton Cowser fan. A lot of you guys kind of pick on me about that. I'm a big Colton Cowser believer, but you know what? It's a big year for him. Sorry. I give him a little bit of a pass last year. It was ugly last year. It was ugly. And I guarantee if you ever asked him to his face, he'd probably tell you the same thing. It was ugly. But I'll give him a slight pass because of the injuries. Some of it was being his fault, kind of dumb slide into first. But didn't really get a great offseason. But either way, it's time. It's time. You were drafted 5th overall. You're a damn good baseball. You're a 5-tool baseball player. You're a 5-tool baseball player. It's time to put it together, and it's time to help this baseball team hit that level. You're a center fielder. You're the guy. You got to act like it. Find out what you want to do in the box. Go and attack the baseball. It's time for you to make that next step. You're a part of this core. They only go as far as you go. Jordan Westburg, he's hurt, right? But when he does come back, he's going to have to find a way to contribute. Jackson Holliday, same thing. Hurt to start. Not going to miss a whole lot of time. Big year for Jackson, though, right? We're in what? Year, I guess, 2nd full season now, but you've had some good at-bats now. It's time to take that next step. I'm not asking you to come out and hit 290. I'd love it if you did. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to take another good step forward. Make the defense better. Let's look better in the box. Let's use the other half of the field a little bit more. Let's start stealing more bases without getting picked off and thrown out all the time. Do those things to get better. Find a way to battle in the count. Like, you set Norfolk's walk record, but you don't walk much here. Now, I understand, obviously, AAA and big leagues are a lot different, but you set that precedence for yourself, and we expect that out of you now. This is, like I said, this is your 3rd stint in the big league, so it's time to take that step. Integral part of this team, right? If these guys don't get it going, it doesn't matter what Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward and such do. Because if you can't get your core players to kind of play to the elite level that they can be, none of it matters. So it's on the coaching staff, it's on the players. It's time to dig in, and it's time to show us what you can do. You were all first-round picks for a reason. You're good ball players. You got to the big leagues very fast for a reason, even though the O's slow play some guys in the minor leagues, because you're a good ball player. It's time to put it all together, and it's time to go out and win 95 games. Now, we know injuries last year really hindered this baseball team. I'm not going to discredit that. We've already started this year with an issue. So, Jordan Westburg, I don't know what happened with this. I don't even think he knows what happens with it. Somehow, he's got a UCL injury, right? I think people are starting to get a touch annoyed, even though he's a great player. Like, it's a guy that shouldn't say they can't win without him, but he's such a good player that he makes your baseball team that much better when he's on the field. Now, Kobe Mayo, big-time prospect, right? So we get to see him a little bit in a full-time role, which is good for Kobe. Kobe brings a different element than what Jordan does, but I think Jordan brings a more rounded element that helps the entire team in some way. Kobe could grow into that. We don't know. Kobe's got to get it going starting tomorrow. It's a big time for him. But Jordan Westburg, Jackson Holliday, right? He's not going to miss too much time, but it stinks that he didn't get, this full spring training to kind of get himself ready to rock and roll. Jackson could have came out like a ball on fire for all we knew, right? Put a lot of work in, gets hurt. We'll have to see what he gets back. But either way, the injury bug has already bit and it's not very good. Keegan Aiken. I think most of us aren't the biggest Keegan Aiken fans in the world. I think we all respect what he does, but we all know that he's an upgradable arm. And he's a guy that comes in and gets some quality outs. I'm not taking that away from him whatsoever. But he's not a guy that I think really too many of us trust in the 8th, maybe 9th inning if he had to come in a left-and-left situation. Sorry. I just think, he does fit a role. And his veteran leadership is a big deal in that bullpen. So not having him to start the season, it puts the load on a guy who hasn't really experienced it before. And last, Andrew Kittredge, right? Unk over here seems to always kind of get hurt, but when he's there, he's good. He's damn good. We saw it with us last year. We saw it with Chicago last year. When he's got it going, he's healthy. He's damn good. He's damn good. And he really helps this baseball team. They got to find a way to get these guys back quick. And I think Kittredge should be back fairly fast. But either way, starting the year with, I would say, fairly big names on the injured list isn't ideal, but you at least get a couple of them back fairly fast. Now, you could have thrown another injury on here with Dylan Beavers. Thankfully, we kind of missed that. But all in all, this is what we have to start the year. And these guys are going to come in and they got to hit the ground running to come and help this baseball team as fast as possible. Again, if you're kind of new here, hit that sub button. Let's get things rock and rolling here. Hit the like button on the stream. We've got 14 right now. I appreciate all you guys. But let's keep rolling. So, how do you get past last year? The injuries were devastating. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. The pitching was terrible. The starting, for the most part, they were bad. Drew French got them to a respectable. They got them to a decent area. Right? They weren't great, but they helped us get to a point where we could win more ball games than we should have. The offense didn't perform whatsoever last year. So even when the pitching was going, the offense lost some games. How do you get past that? Well, everybody got fired. So new coach in. I think all of us right now have seen a lot out of Craig Albanez and this coaching staff and how vibrant they are with the players and how alive and electric they treat things and they treat practice. We heard the story from Ben McDonald. If you haven't heard that yet, I'm sure you can find it on my Twitter or whatnot. We've heard the leadership from Chris Bassitt and whatnot. I don't think this team had that whatsoever the last couple of years. I think early on, Brandon Hyde provided a lot of that. And I think most of us could agree something happened and everything changed on Brandon Hyde. And I don't know if it was the 2023 playoffs, but it seemed like once 2024 started, everything kind of just became like dull. And I think most of us can agree on that. I think Brandon was a pretty good manager, but just something changed. And we heard about it with the players. They would come in and they would do what they want. Brandon kept saying that, they needed to find, they needed to kind of coddle them a little bit. They needed to mature a little bit. Like, it almost seemed like it was manager versus player in the media sometimes, but they still seemed to play hard for him at times. But then he did get fired. The team definitely played harder for Tony Mansolino. I don't think there's anything discrediting that. We traded off pretty much the entire team. They still played hard for what they had. I mean, we saw a lot of these guys made the team this year because of their performance last year. They could have packed it in and not gave us, competitive baseball for the last half of the season. I don't think the Orioles packed it in last year. I think, for the most part, they gave us competitive games. And we lost a lot of games by 1 or 2 runs. Offense just wasn't hitting. But for overall, it was good. It was decent baseball for that second half of the season last year for a lot of guys that we never even heard of. And we got to see some young guys and whatnot. But, I mean, all in all, everything's changed now. New coaches, a lot of new players, new leadership, a lot of changes around the facilities, around Camden Yards. That screams to me, they've invested a lot. In a short time, David Rubenstein has invested a lot in this baseball team. They're going for it. I still think the bullpen is not in a place that it needs to be to fully go for it. But hey, it's early. There's time to make moves. Hopefully they're made. But when you look around baseball, honestly, especially early on, there's a lot of arm injuries, It's hard to call up a team and be like, hey, I need one of your relievers for Ryan Mountcastle. They're going to say, why? I got 3 Ryan Mountcastles in my minor leagues. All right, it's hard to prize somebody away without giving up something good. Everybody wants to see what they got, including the Orioles. They want to see what they got here. And they're going to live and die by this bullpen. They're young, inexperienced, but the ceiling is pretty high on a lot of these guys, to be completely honest with you. And Grant Wolfram's got really good stuff, right? Numbers aren't that great in the big leagues. They're not that great, but he's got some stuff, right? He could really turn it on this year. Geraldo had one of the best changeups in baseball in the second half. Fastball, it wasn't great, but if he can find a way to kind of harness everything, again, the ceiling is pretty good. It's much higher than the floor for him. He could be a pretty decent arm. Nunez, we haven't seen a whole lot about Nunez, converted position player, but he's got some really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. I'm not 1,000% sure he sticks when some of these guys start coming back off the injured list, but he's got the stuff to stick. He's got it. Dietrich Enns had a really rough spring, but we saw what he did last year. Rico Garcia, same thing. He's got a pretty lively arm. We saw him. I mean, I think everybody remembers that moment when Geraldo walked the bases loaded in Boston and Garcia came in there and just, zipped his pants up a little bit tighter than anybody else and just struck out the side. Like, that was a big deal. So they show you that their ceiling is pretty good. It's going to be the inconsistencies. It's going to be Tyler Wells pitching in the 7th and 8th inning. And if it's not him right now, it's Rico Garcia. Like, are these guys used to this? Can they go and do it against the Yankees when it does start to matter? Last year didn't matter, and that's what kind of scares me a little bit. There was no pressure on anybody other than just the normal pressure of baseball, having to perform, still have a job. Everybody feels that pressure. The pressure of having to bring someone in and knowing that these games matter early now. We're trying to hit the postseason. We're trying to make a World Series push. Everything gets cranked up a little bit higher. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these guys that haven't done it, haven't been in that situation, to see how they respond. And that's going to be the biggest difference. And I don't know if a lot of you guys follow Thomas Natesco's. Go with TJ Stats. So these are his MLB standings predictions. He's got the Orioles at 88 games in 3rd place. I think that's really fair. I think it's fair. And Paul and I have talked about this on some Sundays, that there would be three wild card teams out of the AL East. And I think Thomas agrees. I think he agrees with that. And you can see how tight this gets. Fundamentals are going to matter like crazy this year. Every little thing is going to matter. Every base running error, every cutoff man, every bunt you don't get down, every time you get picked off, every time you get caught stealing, every time you get doubled up on a line drive, it's all going to matter, and it's all going to come down to 1 or 2 games this year. I'm completely in agreement here with Thomas and his predictions here. And as you can see, 88 games, what is that, fourth best in the AL? 4th best, and it would be a wild card team. It's going to be a tight one this year, boys. Every little thing is going to matter. And this is why I get a little nervous with the bullpen, though, because you can't afford to go out and blow a lead. If you lose a 1-run game, that happens to the best of them. What scares me is you start to blow the 3 and 4 run leads. The games you absolutely can't drop. That's going to be the difference. You see it right here. He's got Boston projected 1 game behind us. 1 game could separate a lot this year. And it's just like Chris Bassitt said, we heard from Ben McDonald. I know I've said it a couple times. Everything's going to matter. You got to do it right the first time. But it's interesting. We haven't had a 95-game winner in a couple years, right? So it'd be interesting to see if the Dodgers can do it this year. I know he's got them projected at 97. A lot of people think they might hit 100. Listen, people have been projecting the Dodgers to win 100 for a couple years now. They just haven't done it. So baseball's competitive, man. Baseball's competitive. But all in all, the Orioles got to find a way to kind of sink their teeth in here and just figure it out. Like I said, we talked about it earlier in the show. The excuses they're gone. They're gone at this point. And this is a good baseball team, though, and I think this is a playoff baseball team. I think this is definitely a surprise to some people. I said 88 wins, I think, is really good. I do think this is a 90, 91 win team. If they shore up the bullpen, how they shore it up, I don't know. Some of these guys are going to have to pitch to their ceiling. Just flat out. They're going to have to rise to the occasion. Help may or may not be on the way. I have no clue. None of us do, really, except for Mike, if he can land something. But you can't sit back there in the bullpen and be like, man, I wish we had so-and-so. Craig Alvarez can't do that, right? These guys are going to have to line up and tie their shoes a little bit tighter and rise up. They're going to have to be the difference here between, like we said, 85 and 95 wins. Do I think to get to 95? No, but you get my point, right? Getting back Keegan Aiken now, we talked about it. He's not the greatest, but he's not terrible. But getting him back, getting that veteran, getting the guy who you don't mind bringing in the 6th and 7th in a high leverage spot, not ideal, but, it gets him. I think people trust him more than Grant Wolfram right now. Getting Andrew Kittredge back, big deal, right? So instead of going Garcia, Wells, Helsley, because what if Helsley struggles, even just a little bit, right? Needs a day off or something. You really don't have anybody. Then you have Garcia, Kittredge, Wells, Helsley. I think we all feel a whole lot better about that. I still would love to bring in one more guy. I do think Anthony Nunez has back end stuff. Whether they use him at that early, I don't know. Excuse me there tonight. I cannot clear my throat. But, like I said, we'll be down there at opening day tomorrow, so buy me a drink or something. Maybe clear my throat out. Let's get to some of these comments. You guys are chatting away here, so let me roll up and see what's going on. Let's get some of these comments in. Chase says ALCS or bust is a better mentality with a new manager. Anything less, Elias needs to go. I've seen a lot of people say this, and I think Mike would even agree with you. Honestly, this team that he's put together, line up and starting staff, should make the ALCS. The Achilles heel is going to be the bullpen, which I do think he's going to address. Now, having two options in the 40-man is going to help him, but all in all, I think he expects this team to win a playoff series. Should expect them to win too. Completely agree with you. Charm City, did we ever won a playoff game? No, we have not. We have not. We haven't hit. All this talk has been about pitching a lot. They haven't hit in the playoffs, ever. Kramer being optioned shows me the pressure is on the players. I think Kramer having options help them make that decision. If he didn't have any options and they had to either DFA him or something, I think this would have been a completely different conversation. Maybe Chris Bassitt was never signed. I'm not sure. I don't hate it at all. Dean is going to help the team at some point this year. Allows him to work on some things. It's good for the club all in all. Thoughts on the new City Connect? When I saw him about 2 weeks ago. When I first saw it, I was just like, ugh, green? Like, I didn't understand it. But it grew on me a little bit. I like them. I think they look nice. I'll be interested to see how they pair it with the pants. Now, you're going to go with the cream pants or you're going to go with green pants? That's going to be the question. I think the pants are going to kind of set it all off. If you can't screw the pants up. You can't. It's got to be a banger. It's got to, maybe kind of fall in line with either the green. Like if you do cream, you have a green stripe. Maybe have it bricked, kind of like you do inside of B-more and whatnot. They got to get creative with it, but if you don't get the pants, I think the whole thing's off. The whole thing is off. But all in all, I think they're okay. Kramer going down definitely shows me we're putting the best team on the field that we think is the best team no matter who you are. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you, Sean. And I don't think that was an easy decision whatsoever for Mike Elias to make. I really don't. Everybody loves Dean. Dean has been one of the most consistent arms that we've had for 3 years? Very rarely gets hurt. Usually eats innings. He just somehow lapses against bad teams. But Dean's been a bulldog for a long time. He's going to help this team this year. But it was definitely a hard decision. To quote Herb Brooks, the name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the name on the back. That's probably how they told Dean Kramer. I did hear, excuse me, I did hear somebody say that they hoped that Dean Kramer didn't call his agent, ask for a trade. I don't see that on Dino. I think Dino's a competitor. And he probably looked at this and said, you know what? They think 5 other guys are better than me. And I think it's going to make Dino pitch really, really good. The first time that he got sent down in his career, he came back and pitched like a 3-2. So what do you get out of Dean Kramer when he comes back? Could really propel this team for all we know. I don't know. But I'm excited for Dino. He's going to be back soon. Can't have a bad April if you don't play in April. Right there, right there. With how Eflin pitched this spring, they couldn't honestly put him on the IL and Kleber. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could probably say that. But at some point, Dino's going to help this team. I've said that multiple times. I'm a Dino fan. I love Dino. We're gonna see him, and he's gonna give us some good starts. Wouldn't you agree that Jeremiah Jackson is the first one to go when Holiday comes back, pun intended? I don't know, to be completely honest with you. You would think maybe, let's look back at the roster, right? So when Holiday does come back, I would guess, yeah. If they don't move Ryan Mountcastle by then, I think they're going to try to move Ryan Mountcastle. They've been talking him up to make him sound good to the teams. But yeah, if Ryan Mountcastle stays, they haven't found a trade. Yeah, Jeremiah Jackson is the guy, but he has options. So it's good. It's not like you're going to lose him. He does have options. So that's a good thing. I think you're right. It probably is Jackson. Who goes down for Holiday? I'm guessing Tavares. That's another possibility. They would have to DFA him. I don't know though. I think they're going to try to keep on Tavares as long as they can, just to make sure that Colton Cowser's ready to go. I don't see them getting rid of him just quite yet. But there's a lot going on. I mean, you never know. He can get plenty of opportunities and really stink, and then yeah, he's definitely the guy. But with Jeremiah having options, I think that's probably the safest bet for them right now. We've been making excuses for the squad since the new owners took over. I'm sure they're tired of hearing about them as much as some of us. Possibly. Look, sometimes excuses are warranted a little bit. And some of the excuses that we made for this team was warranted a little bit. We had seemed to never really make excuses. We never really blamed the offense. Right? We made a lot of excuses for them. We never really blamed them. A lot of the issues have been the offense. So they got to get it going. This is their third set of hitting coaches in 3 years. So is it the players' fault? Is it the coach's fault for not being able to get to them? I don't know. But when you go on 3 different sets of coaches in 3 years, like, that's saying something. You're part of this core of this baseball team. Like, you got to start figuring it out eventually. It's on you. We blame the pitching for a lot. We make a lot of excuses for the hitting, but hey, we might have to start blaming the hit a little bit. They don't produce like they're supposed to. It's 1,000% their fault this year. And I would even say it's the coach's fault. At some point, you got to blame the players, right? 3 different sets of coaches can't figure you out. Like, maybe you're the problem. Big year for them, and I do think they're gonna. I do think they're gonna perform. I really do. So I'm not saying that they're bad players, but if they don't perform, it is their fault this time. Realist, what's going on? How's everybody doing? I was always a Trevor opening day guy. You know this. A lot of people were, and Trevor getting the ball on opening day, I don't think displeases anybody in this fan base. I think we just assumed it would be Kyle Bradish because we all kind of assumed this is Kyle Bradish's starting staff. I don't think it matters. They're both great. We're very lucky to have both of them. I don't think it matters at all. I always assumed Bradish was going to pitch in his Jersey day. Yeah, I mean, I think they were going to sell out regardless. I didn't really think they cared about that, but it's kind of cool that he does. Look, if he has like a 7-inning outing or something, which I don't think they're going to let him go 7 on the first day, but either way, all the fans are freaking waving his hoodie around. That's going to be pretty epic. Imagine walking off the field, you go like 5-6 innings, 2 hit ball, no runs, no walks, 9 Ks or something like that, and you got 40,000 fans swinging your hoodie around. That's going to be pretty sick. It's going to be cool. Hopefully it goes that way. Trevor Rogers is the second best left-handed pitcher in the American League. I don't know if I'd say that because you got Skubal, you got Crochet. Maybe you could say he's better than Bubic, not Bubic. Who am I thinking of from Kansas City? I mean, you still got Valdez too. Who am I thinking of from Kansas City? Oh, why am I drawing a blank here? It's not Bubic. Cole Reagans. Cole Reagans is pretty good. I'd probably put him right there with Cole Reagans, to be completely honest with you. I'd say he's probably fourth. Valdez could fall out of the top three easily, but we never know. I don't know if he's number two, though. I think Crochet is probably the second best. If Fangraphs projections hold true, it'll be the first time since 2000 the winner of the American League East did not win at least 90 games. Interesting. I did not know that. That's pretty cool, though. Tells you how tough this division is going to be. My question for the season is our bullpen. What ends Mike Elias' tenure? Or is our bullpen what ends his tenure? Does potential regressions from Rodgers, no potential progression from Gunnar and others, sign our PD isn't going to be his plans, or sign our player development isn't going as planned? Yeah. I definitely think you probably answer your own question there. Yeah. If things fail again, it's all on him. All on him, regardless of what position he holds in the front office or not. I mean, I think he knows that. I think he's been told that by Dave Rubenstein and others that, like, hey, iron's hot, dude. Like, here's the money. Go strike. Go do what you do. Give me some good players. Keep developing. But if it doesn't work out, like, hey, this one's on you now. So it would have to be on him, right? Maybe 8 years without a playoff game. And I don't think he'd disagree with you himself if you asked him to his face. Maybe you would. I don't know. But, I mean, I wouldn't think he does. But other people have different opinions of him. Just means multiple relievers have options. Yeah, so a lot of these guys do have options. Wolfram has options. No. Yeah, Wolfram has options. Geraldo has options. Nunez has options. So, I mean, 2024, we had 0 guys in the bullpen with options. So, and Cano also has 2. So we got, 4 or 5 guys that have options, which is great if somebody gets tired. I don't think we have 4 or 5 guys that are good enough to come up and fill those roles. So you want them to kind of figure it out. It all depends on who you move, though. If you had to move Dino to the bullpen if you had to move Cade Povich to the bullpen because you don't want to, but these guys aren't flinging it, you got to do something. But, I mean, think about what Drew French has done over the years. So he's been giving guys like Matt Bowman. Matt Bowman's come over here, and he's given us some pretty quality innings, I would say, for the most part. Jacob Webb had come over and was fairly decent when he was here. You know, he's had guys pitching well. Rico Garcia pitching well last year. So he's been given some dumpster diving arms, and he's made chicken salad out of chicken poop. You know, be the best way to describe that. Drew French has done a good job, so maybe they're leaning heavy on him. I don't know. I really don't know. Did projections change? I thought it was 84. Yes. Well, no. So that was Thomas's projections of his own personal thing. Thomas takes a lot of this. He's a good content creator. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter, please do. It was just his personal projections, and I think I agree with him. Laura, smash that like button as you come in, folks. Yeah, I 100% agree with Laura there. I went the wrong way there. Yeah, smash that like button. Like, subscribe, and become a member. See? Everybody got to listen to Laura. If Adley figures it out to be what he's shown, can he be dealt? We got Creed ready to go. I wouldn't say Creed's ready. Creed's going to be good. I think Creed's the guy that gets dealt. If Adley figures it out, you don't get rid of Adley Rutschman for a long time. Is he going to get a lucrative deal like Will Smith got? I don't think so. We thought that probably 2 years ago, but not anymore. I think Adley's affordable, and if he figures it out this year, I think that's a guy you want to keep around. And I wouldn't trade Adley if he's figured it out because you think you got somebody younger and better. You still need leadership around you. You still need guys that have been around for a long time, and especially a guy that's, stunk a little bit and kind of figured it out. Like, those are the guys that take you to the next level because they've been there and done that rather than waiting on a guy to kind of figure it out. But Creed's a good player. I just think he's eventually dealt this year for some arms. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through, see what we can talk about. Sean says fundamentals. It's going to be a big deal this year. It's going to be a big deal. Every little thing you got to do right, and if they don't, they may miss out on the playoffs by one game. We've heard that several times. Better offense and improved defense will help the pitching. Now, it's a good thing you brought up the defense there, Jabo, because some people don't think we have a very good defense. Now, we saw the entire infield get better last year, and I don't think that was ever talked about enough. The infield was decent last year. Now, it'll be a little bit different this year with Kobe Mayo at third. You don't know exactly what you're going to get out of him from game to game. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to make some plays. I think people are going to be pretty hard on him and ready to get rid of him quickly, and that's okay. But I think Gunnar got better last year. I think Jackson gets better now. He's a little bit more comfortable at second. Cowser, I think, is a fine center fielder. He's going to cover some ground. I think he's going to cover more ground than people expect. Taylor Ward is a question mark in left field. He's okay, not great. Some Angels fans say he's a little lazy. I wouldn't go that far. Playing, obviously, for a winning team changes a lot of things anyway. But either way, I mean, he's not considered a barn burner. He's not a blazer. He's got a pretty decent arm, but he's not going to cover a ton of ground. He's going to make the plays that he should make. And that's all you need this defense to do, is make the plays you should make. Dylan Beavers in right field, I think, is a significant upgrade from last year. Tyler O'Neill slimmed down a little bit. It's going to play better than he did last year. We haven't really even talked about him tonight, but I think he's an integral part to this team this year. But either way, he's going to play better defense himself. Defense isn't something that we've touched on enough, but I'm not in the same position as some others saying that his defense is bad by any means. There's some question marks in the outfield, but overall, I think the catching is going to get better. We brought in basically 3 catching coaches: Hank Conger, Craig Alvarez, and Joe Singley. These guys know what they're doing. They're highly touted around baseball. Our catchers, Samuel Basayo and Adley Rutschman, they're going to be better, right? So you sure up some stuff there. I think first base, obviously, we're going to get Pete catches everything on the ground, literally everything. So first base might get better. So all in all, I think the defense is good. And I agree with you, Jabo. Better offense and improved defense is going to help the pitching. 1,000% agree. Great comment there. Ray Jones Sub says, the players made Hyde look good. I don't think I disagree with that, to be completely honest with you. Players did make Hyde look good. There's some good players, and they need to remember that they're good. And I also think they're going to make Craig Alvarez look good. Obviously, he's got better players to work with. But all in all, I mean, when you get to play with Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso, Taylor Ward has been doing this for a long time in LA, and nobody's ever paid attention because it's LA and they lose all the time. But he's been a really consistent baseball player over the years. And I'm excited to see what he can do here on a winning team. Especially with some protection. He had some protection last year. I mean, Joe Adele hit a bunch of home runs and whatnot. Injured list, Mike Trout played, 7 games? That was a joke. But either way, he wasn't a hitter. He once was. You get Taylor Ward here with Gunnar Henderson and Pete Alonso. Who knows what he can do? I'm excited about that. And again, back to Rage's comment. They're going to make Craig Alvarez look good, so I don't care. Good. Let's win some games. I say this with all due respect. Brandon Hyde's divorce deeply affected that man and affected his ability to manage, understandably so. This is a tough subject because I don't think you're wrong, but this is professional baseball, and sometimes you got to check the things that go on at home at the door, and you go out and play baseball. They tell you that as a player. I'm sure they tell you that as a coach. You got to check it at the door. I understand it weighs on a man a little bit, but it's a job. It's a job, and you're expected to do your job at the highest level. If that was the case, I feel for the man. I do. But I expect him to check things at the door and get things done, but you can't carry your home life onto the field. And if he was doing that, you could tell something was carrying over on that field. And it just wasn't working out for anybody. But if that was the case, like I said, I feel bad for the guy, but bring me Craig. Bring me Craig. I just wonder how much Elias had to do with Hyde's lineups. That's a good question, Rick. It's a really good question because I think a lot of times we all predicted lineups ourselves, and it definitely could have been Mike. I thought, like I said, I played with Brandon Hyde. I thought he was a great manager. Just something changed. The whole vibe, the attitude, everything about him changed from what I seen myself for a couple of years. But, it is what it is. And, hey, maybe he's happy in Tampa now. Who knows? Bring in Michael Kopech to add to the bullpen, says Joe. Joe, I completely agree with you, and I don't understand why he hasn't signed anywhere in baseball other than the fact that maybe he wants to go back and be a starter again for like $15 million. I have no idea. No idea what the deal with that is, but he's just sitting around. He had meniscus surgery, 6 to 8 weeks recovery time, and he got that in like October. So nothing's been said on him by anybody in the media or anything. It's crazy. But Kopech wants $15-18 million from what I heard. I've heard the same. He wants to be a starter, but who knows? Jason says, everybody get on the Rico Garcia train. I like Rico. Hopefully he can keep it going. According to the article in the banner today, scouts say we have no elite defense anywhere on the diamond. Mountie brings that, but he won't see the field. I've read that, Mark, and while I agree with it, I don't think it matters. I don't need an elite defender out there. Not with this offense. I need you to catch the ball. The balls that you're supposed to catch them, make the throw, catch it, make the out. Right? Here and there, if you're going to dive and make a great play, cool. We'll all stand up, cheer, and hoot and holler and have a great time. I just need you to catch the ball right at you. Throw the ball to the right base. You know what I mean? We don't need spectacular plays. We just don't. We should be scoring 5 runs a game, sometimes more. And if you catch the balls that you're supposed to, they should only score 3, unless your pitching just sucks that night. But you give me average defense, maybe slightly above the average mark, not above average, but above the average mark, I think we're in a really good spot. My personal opinion, I could be completely wrong. But I just expect this offense to do things that we haven't seen in a few years. I love Rico. Came in last year, the base load showed him. Yeah. Hey, that's when we all started liking Rico. Joe says $15-18 million for Kopech. No wonder he's not signed. Yeah. Jabo says AL Beast this season. It's AL Beast every season. Every season. It's crazy. Feel the way I feel the way too, but I had the Yankees in 4th. I don't trust their pitching. Look, I've said this multiple times. This team has a lot of what-ifs. Every team in baseball has a lot of what-ifs. You look at the Yankees. Their fans think that their bullpen is the biggest what-if on their roster. They don't like their bullpen. So every team's fan base is going to find something because they all want their team to be great. They all want their team to win. They're all going to nitpick their team, just like us. Nope, we're not any different than anybody else. But yeah, I mean, Yankees could go south quick. They could. Anyone in this division could win it, except maybe Tampa. But either way, you could either win it, 4 of the teams, or you can finish in 4th. All 4 of those teams. That's how tight this division is going to be. It's going to be tight. And it goes back to what Sean said. Fundamentals. I think most people are underestimating this team, especially with the pitching injuries to start the season to the Yankees and Toronto. Got to get out to a hot start. I know people keep saying that we have a pretty easy schedule to start off. We don't. We actually have the 3rd hardest strength of schedule in baseball, or the AL. So nothing about our schedule is easy at all. You got to remember we play in the AL East. So we got to just win baseball games. Got to hit, catch the ball, win baseball games. Nothing is going to be easy this year whatsoever. Rick says, I have the O's winning the division, Boston 2nd, Toronto 3rd, Yankees 4th. Again, I could see it. I could see anything happen in this division this year. I'm not discrediting anybody, what anybody says. Did you see what Sandgrass has the winner of the division? Yankees win 87 games the first time. Yeah. Yep. Sean said it earlier. That's crazy. It's crazy. With rosters being finalized, any interesting players from the bullpen hitting the waivers? I haven't checked yet. I had baseball practice tonight, so I haven't checked yet. But it's a very good question. I'll probably check in the morning. You'll know me. I'll fire off a tweet if I like somebody. We're back to that. Some crazy stats and whatnot all year. If you're not following me on Twitter, Pigtown Sports, go follow it. I send out a lot of crazy tweets all day long, just stupid stats and stuff to make the Orioles look good. It's Nichols says cream with the piping. I'm guessing green piping. I would be okay with that. I'd be okay with that. Cream colored pants with a green stripe would go hard. It definitely would. Oh, I just lost my spot there. Keep in mind, do you know struggles in April? Yeah. Yep. You'll never convince me that Blaze Alexander wasn't acquired to be the starting center fielder had the injuries had not happened. Maybe we'll find out when they all come back. You never know. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anything. I wouldn't put it past it. He played okay out there. At least to have a right-handed guy that maybe hits a little bit better than Tavares too. You never know. You never know. Rick says, I think Jackson Holliday is going to have a breakout season. Can't wait to get him back. I agree with you. I think Jackson's going to take a big step this year. Big step. Cole Reagans is the guy. Yeah, Reagans is good. Screwball, Crochet, Reagans, and Fried are all better. Fried's good. I forgot about Fried too. Fried's pretty good. I'd say Rogers is probably right there with Fried though. At least last year. We'll find out this year. But I think he's right there. Definitely better than Rondon. I'm not a fan of Rondon. I think Rondon sucks. Even though he's always good. I just never been a fan of the guy. I don't know why. Do I think we extend him? I do. And I think he wants to be here. So I think when the two sides finally agree to something, we're all going to be pretty ecstatic. It's going to be a pretty good one. I think they just want to see that last year wasn't a fluke. He doesn't come out and just get destroyed the first 5-6 starts. So if he comes out in the first 10 starts are pretty good, I think we hear of an extension during the season. I could be wrong. It's just me thinking there. No, nothing else. Just me thinking. Frank Robinson always said the biggest difference between the ball club is to one another is conditioning and fundamentals. And that's going to go show true this year. 1,000% agree. 1,000%. The old time sayings that we used to hear from the old guys, they never change. Baseball changes a lot, but that kind of stuff never changes. Never changes. Let's see. Right down to the wire this year in the AL, he says Maddox Bryant. I agree. Birdwatcher, happy opening day eve. You as well. I will be at the game tomorrow. So if you guys are down there, come find me at section 771. Or I start at Pickles and then I kind of migrate over and then I finish up at the Hilton. Hilton just has better bathrooms. If I gotta pee, I gotta pee. But I will be at the Hilton towards game time. So if you're around the area, come find me. I'm usually hanging out by the loud music anyway. Rick says, I'm your favorite analytics guy. I appreciate that. But that's what we got tonight. I mean, it's a season preview in a nutshell. Again, I think this is a great baseball team. I think it is World Series or bust at this point. I think you have to go get to the ALCS. You have a good enough team that could win it. I do think there are going to be some additions to this bullpen this year. Maybe quite a few. I'm not 1,000% sure on that, but you never know. Some guys could pitch above their potential and earn some spots. But I think they're going to be looking a lot to help this bullpen. The bullpen's the only thing, and like we said at the very beginning of the show, the difference between 95 and 85 wins is that bullpen. You cannot afford to drop some games that you have a 2 or 3 run lead. But if you guys are going to be down in Baltimore tomorrow, I'll be around. And come say hello. Let's chat a little bit. Other than that, man, I think we're poised for a great season. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I don't know. But I'll catch you guys later. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me tonight. And have a great night.